Wow, I didn't think it was going to be right that way. Um, Hi, name's Sebastian. This is Vision Denial and the Road to MSI, where I'm going to watch every region's playoff series, including that one and this one here, where I'm going to say congratulations to Mad Lions to being the fifth team to qualify for MSI. Whew, what a spicy! I think this is the third reverse sweep, fourth. You lose count somehow, despite the fact that there's been very few of them. Yeah. No, yeah, this is like the fourth reverse sweep. Holy Toledo Joe, guys. Anywho, the so this was 3-2 for Mad Lions, and this is a rematch. And I previously mentioned that the last time these two teams plays, this was my favorite playoff series. This particular playoff series, the Grand Finals, was not my favorite. It was exciting. It was very nail biting, very tense, really close. Kudos to Rogue, the huge improvement overnight. Holy smokes. Honestly, I kind of would have preferred Rogue to make it to MSI. This was a masterclass in early game performance, solid vision, great sense of win condition, so on and so forth. But, like, it's still Mad Lions with the late game play. And, like, very smart early game play in some places, but, like, where we saw Mad Lions in every other playoff series they played. And granted, they played only, like, two teams in this playoff series, so we're going to have, like, the same kind of issue that some of these, that Damwon had, where we only saw them play against two teams. And so, like, the information is very limited, so we have to give it off of context of the region. But we've seen Rogue play many other teams, so it's different than like how Australia had a similar situation, but their quality of gameplay is much lower. Rogue played three teams, yeah, out of like half of the teams Rogue played, uh, and so it's a really good litmus test. Litmus, is that right? Is that the term? Doesn't matter. The point being here that I'm trying to get at is I think Rogue at the day was the more consistent team, but not the better team. But we saw the weaknesses that were talked about for the regular season for Mad Lions rear up here. And it gives me concern here. And I would have ranked Europe much higher if it wasn't for this playoff series. My chair is creaky for some reason. I gotta tighten its bolts. So, some of the things I liked. I very much appreciate the diversity in the draft again. Great. But I also appreciate the diversity in the type of play and the pivots that they did. Rogue almost did a repeat in 2 games for game 3 and 4, but there was enough change in the champions and the types of champions that it made it very different, especially when you do 2 marksmen and 2 enchanters versus double marksmen and bruisers. They have very different play. I think it's also super interesting about how well the gold was being ballooned by Rogue in almost all of the games. Yeah, games 1 through 5 were ballooned very well. No, games 2, Mad Lions was doing very well, and had ballooned also, but had like fumbled their execution. And I think this is like, how do I put it? There was a weird, it's a weird situation where the team on the back foot regularly finds plays and picks to get ahead because they have nothing to lose. And I appreciate that to some extent. But it says a lot that when ahead, both of these teams were more and more cautious the further ahead they were. instead of really pushing the envelope, or I mean, not exactly. There's like a curve, right, where it's like a sinusoidal curve. So it's like super aggressive to get leads. Go well. Let me do it so the camera sees it properly. Super aggressive goes down as they get slightly more aggressive into the mid game. Get enough leads, get really aggressive, and then when they're really ahead, they get less aggressive and more safe. And it has this weird effect of like early games, great aggression. Late mid game slows down a little bit. Transitioning to late game, a lot of aggression. Late game, then there's like this passivity waiting for something to happen. And this is something that I've seen nowhere else from Europe. Not any of the other playoffs had this. Why is it this time? This is the playstyle that happened. Like there were mid-game troughs every so often, but when it came to late game, it was just go, 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 go from both sides. Right? Like the one side would go really hard and the other side would go even harder to punch back. Right? It didn't matter who was ahead. It really depended on the tempo. Tempo was key. And in this game, tempo was not key. Tempo didn't care fuck all about it. So, given that, there was, up until the finals here, part of me going, I'm going to put them above, whoever wins this match, above Damwon Kia. So I'm going to go right there. They're not. They're in second place, and there's only 5 teams, so they're probably going to stay there for very long. I don't expect anything from North America to wow me or pizzazz me for a point where I think they'll be above Mad Lions, regardless of the team that qualifies from North America. That's the next series that I'm going to watch. But my issue comes with I've seen more consistency on how to close a game. Now, both of these teams close games very well. Like, incredibly well. No complaints. Maybe some minor nitpicks here and there, but like, no complaints regarding that. But they've slowed down their tempo late game too many times and have overpositioned and overstepped that like a team like Damwon Kia is just gonna roll them over, and whichever team from China qualifies is not even gonna give them the opportunity to slow down. You slow down a little bit, the team that's behind is just gonna steamroll you. They're just gonna keep going and going and going and going. And I really can't justify thinking that Europe is going to be the breakaway. I had an inkling of suspicion that maybe they were going to be the favorites, but this playoff series casts a huge doubt in my mind, regardless of how well the rest of it was, because you have to show me that you're going to play at least like your type of style consistently throughout. Or if you're going to change styles, that you're going to play consistently the different styles. And Rogue showed that, but they didn't show a willingness to keep up the tempo for all 5 games. And as such, Mad Lions being the punishers, and I criticize all of the minor regions for this, but Mad Lions being the ones that punish to gain the leads, I can't give them the full credit, as so to speak. If I really like harp on smaller regions that playing to wait for mistakes and punish to get leads is not good enough and is like detrimental to you, then the same applies to larger regions. Yep. That's mostly my thought process on this. It's just, it is what it is, right? You guys let me know in the comments down below if you think that like maybe slack off a little bit on Mad Lions a bit. They've done so well this entire playoff series, above and beyond expectations. Do you really think they might, given the way that this finals played out, as exciting as it was, that they still might be favorites for the whole thing? I don't. I think that so far it might be either the Chinese team, depending on how that finals goes. But, you know, let me know in the comments down below. Next up, we got the North American Grand Finals. We get to see who the 6th team to qualify. is from Cloud9 versus Team Liquid, another rematch. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.